How's everyone doing? So it is Sunday, 9/23/2018, and I've decided that I'm going to just do my regular live stream without being actually live here on YouTube. Now, I was thinking about doing it on Facebook or my Instagram, but I didn't really want to put some of these ratchet women on blast that way. I figured keep it to this sector. Let's just keep it here and do what we do. It's unfair for me to go into areas where I have a greater advantage. You know what I mean? Where I have a larger advantage to destroy them. I'm not trying to destroy these women, but them trying to destroy me has resulted into where we are today. And for you new people who are coming aboard, not knowing the facts, just listening to these idiots, there's nothing I can say to you except just pay attention. You know what I mean? Like, actually just listen to them and you will understand what is going on. You have to be able to decipher bullshit from reality. These women, and I'm being very friendly when I use the term women, right? Because the reality is they are nothing more than females who have no, how should I say this? They aren't looking towards the future. They aren't trying to better themselves. They are only trying to excuse their ignorance. See, on a day-to-day basis, we all should be learning something new. I have been learning something new even within this nonsense here on YouTube. See, I'm always thirsty for knowledge. And that's why I have no issue having conversations with people even when we disagree on certain topics. We could disagree on every single topic there is. As long as we can have a conversation about it, we both will learn to understand one another. A lot of the things we talk about here on YouTube and on the internet, period, is opinionated based, right? There is no right or wrong answer in a lot of things that we are speaking on. But there are things that are facts. There is no disputing facts. But we have some people who will like to dispute the fact. And what they will say is some stupid shit like, well, my truth. Well, that's my truth. And you can't tell me what my truth is. In my truth, 1 + 1 = 35. And some of you fall for that shit and be like, well, you're right. She's right. Mom, you can't tell her what her truth is. And I sit back and I gasp at the ignorance that our people, whether male, female, black or white, Asian, it doesn't matter. For those of you who aren't educated enough to understand that a fact is a fact and it doesn't linger, it doesn't start wavering. None of us will get into an argument about 20 + 20 = 40. But that is exactly what we are doing in this sector of YouTube a lot. And so when you claim that there is a us and a them, the clear answer, the reason why there's a us and a them is as simple as we have a group of people who aren't intelligent enough to understand the difference between an opinion and a fact. And then you have this side where we understand lies versus opinions and fact, and most of the time we don't really give a shit because we're not here to do anything except to meet new people, conversate with new people, and just have fun. I think I spoke on this to someone in one of my areas today, where an old dude decided to say that he sees ratchetness, or he didn't use that word. He sees ignorance and stupidity on all around, on both sides. And I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, my brother. Now you have to actually sit down and have a discussion with me and clear up what it is that you claim that you see. Because there is a difference between those of us on this side laughing and joking and talking while we're disagreeing. We understand facts are facts. We don't all like the same people. We don't all agree on the same things all the time because it's based on opinions. And yet, we have another side who've decided that if you chat with a group of people, anything that person says also falls on you. How ridiculous is that? So if I say I am in a beef with so and so, right? That doesn't mean that the rest of the people around me are having the same issues with that person. We all come from different backgrounds. We have different belief systems. We're different people in different areas of the country. Some of us are not even in the same country. Our cultures are different. How is it that this group of people who come from all over, we're married to different types of people? Some of us not married at all. We have the men who are, who have been in relationships that didn't work out. We even have a group of men who aren't caping for women. And we still can have conversations and get along. How is that? How is it that someone, and I'm just using a name because you all know Jack Spade, right? Jack Spade has his belief systems in place. And I'm not against Jack Spade's belief system. He's explained it. I understand it. He's explained his position, why it is that he believes the things that he believes, and whether I agree or disagree, it really doesn't really matter, because, you know what I'm saying, we can have a discussion and I understand his points. I understand it. Why do I understand Jack? Because Jack has explained himself. He didn't have to do that, but that's called discussions, having conversations. Some of you would never even have a conversation with someone who's have certain beliefs. But if you don't have a conversation with them, how could you even understand where they are coming from? So yes, for you men out there, I clearly understand your point of views on women. So-called, as y'all put it, black women, because you decided to place that on just the black woman's, lap. Although we know that there are many other races of women who have the same exact issues. But I don't go into that. I don't. It doesn't even benefit us to go into that. If a black man is saying, "Hey, I don't like black women because of this, that, and the third," do you think when I tell him, "Well, white women do the same thing," how would that help me to convince him that he should like black women? It doesn't. What am I saying? Well, I know you don't like black women because of this. You know, white women do it also. Based on what he's saying, he's actually saying he don't like women who does this, that, and the third. In our community, he may not know any white women who act that way. And like he might not even be interested in knowing what white women are doing anyway. You understand what I'm saying? So no, I'm not against those men. I am willing to have a conversation with them because it helps. It helps them to broaden their thinking, and it also helps me to broaden my thinking so I can understand. And ladies, I'm a woman. I am all for you. But I cannot excuse the things that we as women have done, will do. Like there's certain things that needs to be pointed out. And when we point it out, those women who may be participating in certain things, and as far as I'm concerned, it's mostly about the raising of our children. You know what I'm saying? Have y'all heard the saying, it's not what you do, but how you do it? As a grown adult, you have the right to do whatever it is you want in with your life, whether it works out for you or it doesn't. Once you become a parent, you're supposed to think about your children. And then you make adjustments. Doesn't mean you need to stop what you're doing, but you may adjust the things that you're doing for the betterment, the improvement, to make sure the safety of your children. And I'm not just beating down on women. I'm speaking to the women because I am a woman, right? But the men is no different for you. For you, if you are making children, your children's supposed to be your number one. Unfortunately, we have a lot of men who aren't being responsible. And we know why that is. Because some of them just are irresponsible across the board. And these men are right when they say, ladies, you look at the man. He tells you who he is when you meet him, even if it doesn't come out of his mouth. He tells you he has several baby mothers. That is a sign of something. You decide that he's with you. He's putting down his baby mothers, and you side with him. And that makes you feel good because you feel like he's mine now. Oh, he was yours then, but he's mine now. And then when something happens, you become baby mama number 5. And then you're on the outs while he has another woman telling you, along with the other women, that he is mine now. I don't know what happened with you all, but he's mine now. He's not treating me that way. You see, wow. So when these men say that a lot of times we are putting ourselves into a predicament, we can't later complain about it. It's that thing that we as women, and I know this for a fact because I'm a woman and I've been there, when you think that you're better than the other woman. You think you look better. You think your attitude is better. You think you could cook better. Like you've tried to figure out how it is that you could keep this man. And instead of you making sure that you don't have any children to become like the other women, You just freely just allow certain things to happen. You end up pregnant. Maybe this man don't want to be tied down. Maybe it is that he's the lovey-dovey type of guy, free-spirited, fun, and loving. That could be true. He could be a great guy who's not ready for responsibilities. Maybe he becomes frightened once he is, when the responsibility factor punches him in the gut. But guess what, ladies? You already knew that there was something about him not wanting to take responsibility. He told you. He told you without even having to open his mouth. So these men are right on that factor. They're right. I'm sorry. The reason why old girl, old head with the bay, right? Nasa Ray, Lion Ray, Stinky Ray, Sasa Ray. Y'all know who I'm talking about. The reason why she comes to mind so often is not because of anything except her actions. Her not taking responsibility. Not for child number 1 and not for child number 2. There shouldn't have been an incident like a child number 2 in the predicament that she was in. I'm not even saying that this woman had to have an abortion. I'm talking about even prior to getting pregnant. Do y'all not understand that? So do not confuse this conversation and start mixing shit in. I'm talking about from number 1, when she decided to, remember she made a whole video where she had to look for a man so she could get Q off of her mind. In order to get Q off her mind, she knew she had to quickly find another man, and she needed to find him so quickly that she signed on to plenty of fish. Think about that, ladies. A woman who's being responsible, who's looking for a man to date, they don't really hop on plenty of fish in order to forget about another man. That is a woman searching for penis. Right? She's searching for penis. She knows that the people in her area don't fuck with her that way. We've already heard stories from people from Atlanta. There's stories about this girl, even where she was from. Was it North Carolina or Virginia? One of those areas. That area. Okay? There are people who lived in that area who could tell you about her. So in order for her to get away from those people and find penis, without people knowing that she's a little cuckoo, without people knowing that she has stalking charges already, is for her to sign on the internet. Plenty of fish. Think about that. And so people are like, well, Bomb, you're judging. Or they'll say some stupid shit like, you're too old to even have an opinion. You're too old for this. And you're too old for that. And you're too old for this. And why are you tearing someone down? Well, you know what? If you call this tearing her down, I don't know what to tell you. Because it sounds like she was pretty torn down already. This is the conversation her mother should have had with her. Now, she left a comment in my area that I went over earlier, where she says that her mother and I are in the same age bracket. Now, I'm going to tell you that I'm closer to her age as I am to her mother's age. She says her mother is 58 and I'm not even 50. So it looks like there's a 10-year difference. Right? I don't even want to talk about her mother. But I'm going to tell you this. Her mother should have had this conversation with her, and none of us will be talking about her the way we do. But you never know what the situation of the mother is. I'd be goddamn if my daughter or my granddaughter at a young age would have hopped in front of a camera to curse out a grown man as he was streaming live for the world to see. We don't even need to talk about her mother, because we know that she wasn't a good mother, and nor is she a good grandmother, not to the first one. Not to the first one of this child. I don't know about, what might happen with the baby, and hopefully she becomes a better grandmother. Some people, it takes them to get into their late 50s, 60s, and 70s before they decide they want to be mature and think rationally. Unfortunately, it took them so long that a couple of generations in their family have repeated the same bullshit that they have repeated. Some of you are on that same path, because there's a group of women in my age bracket, whether you are my age, older than me, or even a little younger than me, you are on the same path. And why is that? Because you won't take responsibility for your actions. And you're even willing to say, well, in my family, there weren't many men, so I did not know. And that's okay, right? We've assessed that you don't know. You didn't know. Soon as someone informed you that there's something different, there's a better way, a better path, why won't you just admit that you found out there's a better path, and you start heading towards that path for the sake of your children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren? Believe it or not, our children follow what they see. They follow what they see, whether they like it or not. Remember, I told you, my father being in the household, right? It allowed me to understand how males and females react within a marriage. I understand a lot of people weren't raised with that. For those of us who had a father or uncle, grandfather, or some male who was helping with the family, we as women, we look towards the man and we decide, we make some decisions. We even look at our parents and we make decisions whether we're going to be like them or we're not going to be anything like them. We make up our minds. And a lot of things that we start to do reflects that. But somewhere down the road, when life starts to put you in this small space, right? Because you're just doing what you need to do to survive. Sometimes we go on autopilot. And we revert back to that in which we know what we saw as we was growing up. And we may not even notice that is happening. You start to realize you're more than less just like your parents. And at times it takes us to stop and recalibrate ourselves to either get back on the right path, or to then get on the right path or a different path. It's called self-correction. If you want better with your life, it's a possibility. It truly is. See, in my age bracket, there was a lot of things I did not know. The information was not at our fingertips like that. We have some people who are from these larger cities. And when you're from these larger cities, you had more things at your fingertips. And you just had to, decide to walk there or go there, catch a bus there. And then there were people who didn't have those things. See, it's real easy to say what it is that you should be doing and you should have known. What you mean you should have known? If nobody even gave you the opportunity, you weren't allowed to go to certain places, or if you knew that if you go to those places, how you would be treated, then you would grow up thinking that you shouldn't be going to those places. They call you troublemakers, right? Being black and walking into a library, even in the 80s, in the area that I lived, you would get a lot of issues. You'll be called the problem maker, the troublemaker, or the uppity nigger. Oh, she's trying to educate herself? It's a lot of us, we live within our own little bubbles. That's the way it works though, right? When you're growing up, you only know that in which you see. You don't see anything past what you can literally see. But as you mature as an adult, I want to say, start seeking out different things. Learning from different people. You have to have your mind open to realize that maybe the things that were taught to you, although you know they had nothing but love for you, wanting nothing but the best for you, that they themselves can only teach you what they knew. So instead of blaming your mother, blaming your fathers, you just say, you try to understand their points, disagree or not, that's up to you, but then you want to do better. Some of you men and women, in order to find your mate, you might just have to go into another community within your area. You see what I'm saying? Like, you might have to venture out. Go to a coffee shop that's not in the area in which you live. Might run into some new people. Have your mind open to actually meeting new people. There's a big difference in someone who goes into a coffee shop and they are there just to get their coffee. They're closed off to people. Versus someone who walks in a coffee shop, whether busy or not, people can tell that you're open to them just by the look of your face, your personality that comes out even without you saying a word, right? It's your body language. You put a smile on your face and you say hello, good morning, how are you doing? Those shoes are nice. You have a beautiful smile. I'm telling you, certain things that are so simple could actually change your life. It's simple things. But in our community where we can't be so open, right? We got to have this mean look on our face. We have to threaten others. We have to talk about how real, I keep it real. No, you're not keeping it real. I'm tired of even hearing that bullshit. Because it's negative. Anyway, I didn't want to talk about anyone per se. I just wanted to let you all know that there is something better. You could be better. You might be a great person who might just need to open up to others to make your life a little better. Even if it's not better, how about different? It's not always about tearing down what it is that you've done. Change isn't about that. Change is improvement in a lot of cases. But what can I say? What do I know, right? I'm just an old woman. I'm just an old woman who came to YouTube without even showing myself. But I'm going to talk about that in the next video. I don't want these to be too long, and I don't want to mix up the topics. So this one is about bettering yourself, acknowledging that maybe you can better yourself. Who can't better themselves? I could better myself every single moment. Right? Instead of being on here, I can be reading something about something that I don't know. Just for the knowledge. I could be doing that. Or I could be here trying to, give a little wisdom to some of you. Even if it's just a little bit. I don't even know what more to say. What more can I say? I came on here with positivity. I was met with the regular same trolls that most of us get met with. Unfortunately for them, I wasn't the pushover type, the ones who's going to run. I'm not going to run. I'm going to give my message. I want to share my message to my brothers and my sisters. I want to be able to explain the questions that I see on the internet all the time. What is the purpose of marriage? Why would I get married? What is the purpose of this? What is the purpose of that? I'm here in order to better our communities. And I have so many thoughts that run through my head. And within every single angle that I can think of, I see both the pros and the cons. So when people want to say, well, Bob, what do you have to offer? Pretty much the only thing I have to offer is a different perspective. But I'm telling you, it could change your life. To be open to that person who you think is a racist. And realize that maybe he is a racist, he or she is a racist, but that's all they've known. Could be someone like yourself who goes in and change their way of thinking. And wow, how wonderful would that be to change the thinking of one person who then has children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, whom could then be influenced by that one change. I'm just saying. Some people are like, I don't have time to be changing no racist mind. Well, okay, and I'm okay with that. But when you see a group of us going in and doing that work, taking on that challenge, why would you say something negative about a black person being able to be in another group to change their way of thinking? For the betterment of my children, my grandchildren, and my great-grandchildren. I could be selfish and just do everything I'm doing just to be happy, so my children could be okay, my great-grandchildren could be okay. I could do that. A lot of people have resulted to that. In fact, a lot of times in the past decades, that was the safest way to go for some people, right? Stay to yourself and just try to make it better for your kids. But through time, we realize, through actual stats, right, we realize that that doesn't work. Because your child might be able to afford to go to a private school, but within that private school, your kid is still experiencing the racism. They can't themselves. They start to adapt to certain things. And then when they reach out into the real world, they don't know who they are, where they fit in. They don't know anything. All you've given them is money. You've given them access to places just so they can realize they truly don't have true access. You know what I mean? Some of you don't. I get it. Okay? I get it. And I'm going to leave it alone. I hope you all have a great week. My next video not going to be so nice. Okay? Because I'm gonna start actually talking about some of you and your comments in my area. But I'll see you in a moment.